The Mausoleum of Zhao Zhen, the fourth and the longest reigning emperor of the Song Dynasty. He treated people with kindness, and during his reign, the economy and culture of the Song Dynasty prospered. But he failed to solve the problems that had accumulated since the establishment of the Song Dynasty. Half a century after the burial, his grave was systematically looted by his enemies as the territory fell into their hands. And this is the story about the emperor and his mausoleum. The Song Dynasty, founded by Zhao Kuang-yin in 960 AD, ruled China for 3 centuries with 18 emperors. The mausoleums of 7 of them are in Gongyi City, Henan Province. Since there has been no maintenance for 1,000 years, the mausoleum buildings have long disappeared, leaving only some mounds of earth and stone statues standing alone in the fields. At the end of the last century, the Gongyi city authorities rebuilt a mausoleum in the downtown area and restored the buildings to their original appearance based on archaeological discoveries. The owner of this mausoleum is Zhao Zhen, the 4th emperor of the Song Dynasty. The construction of the imperial mausoleum of the Song Dynasty began only after the emperor's death, and they had to complete the construction within 7 months. According to historical records, the Song Dynasty government mobilized over 46,000 laborers to build this mausoleum. The layout and scale of the Song Dynasty imperial tombs located in Gongyi, Henan, are almost identical. The most notable feature is that the entire mausoleum is sloping downhill, with the burial mound being the lowest point. The royal family of the Song Dynasty believed that such a layout would allow their descendants to prosper. In ancient China, tombs have always meant more than just a resting place for the dead. They believed that an excellent burial site could bless future generations. Zhao Zhen was born in 1010 and ascended the throne at the age of 13. At the age of 23, he no longer needed his mother's assistance and began to handle state affairs independently. According to historical records, he was a benevolent and tolerant emperor who treated his ministers and servants kindly. A famous story about him goes like this. One night, he was hungry and wanted to eat roast lamb, but he was worried that if he made this request, the kitchen might prepare lamb every day, which would cause waste. So he endured the hunger and did not ask. Zhao Zhen reigned for 42 years, the longest among all the emperors of the Song Dynasty. Although a war broke out during this period, the country enjoyed an overall stable situation and a prosperous economy. A large number of young talents and outstanding scholars emerged during this period. Many of them became key figures during the reigns of the following 2 generations of emperors. But let's not forget that the Song Dynasty was the most threatened by northern nomadic regimes in Chinese history. Without the mountains and the Great Wall in the north as a barrier, the Song Dynasty was highly vulnerable to invasion from the Xia in the northwest and the Liao in the northeast. The Song Dynasty government paid them considerable amounts of money every year in exchange for peace. To cope with the invasion, that might come at any time, the Song Dynasty had an army of more than 1 million. Military expenditures accounted for 70% of the government's tax revenue, which became a huge burden. At the same time, the number of officials in the Song Dynasty was enormous, and many of them only took salaries but did nothing at all. Emperor Zhao Zhen intended to change the situation and launched a reform, but because it harmed the interests of many people, he encountered strong resistance and had to give up. In April 1063, Zhao Zhen passed away at the age of 54. 7 months later, they buried him under this mound. After his death, he was bestowed the title Renzong, meaning benevolent emperor. About 60 years after his death, the Jin dynasty rose in the north. They invaded the Song dynasty's capital, Kaifeng, and captured the emperor. Since then, the Song dynasty has lost most of its northern territory, including Gongyi, where these imperial tombs are. The new regime on this land launched a systematic revenge-style looting against these imperial tombs, a tomb robbing operation with an official background, and they looted all the tombs of the royal family members of the Song dynasty in this area. According to recent investigations, those tombs are now empty, including this one. In 1981, a heavy rain exposed the chamber of an empress's tomb not far from here. Archaeologists excavated the tomb to get a clear understanding of the layout of these burial chambers. They are not big. All of them are single-chamber domes made of bricks, about 30 meters deep. In the northwest is the tomb of Zhao Zhen's empress. It's like a mini version of the mausoleum of her husband. There were walls and buildings originally, but they are long gone. Some of the stone figures are missing their heads, as they were also a prime target for tomb robbers, and many of them have become collections of collectors or museums all over the world. After the large-scale tomb robbery mentioned earlier, tomb robbers repeatedly looted these tombs due to a lack of protection over the following hundreds of years. Perhaps because the construction time was limited to 7 months, compared with other dynasties in ancient China, the imperial mausoleums of the Song dynasty can be described as humble and austere, and less famous as well. You don't even need to buy a ticket to visit these sites today. Emperor Zhao Zhen had 3 sons in his lifetime, but all of them died young. Therefore, he adopted his cousin's son Zhao Shu as his future heir to the throne. In 1063, Zhao Shu succeeded to the throne and became the 5th emperor of the Song dynasty, but died just 4 years later. His mausoleum is next to this one, and that is what we will see in the next episode.